the last episode of Sheila Lives Out Loud.
I call myself a storyteller, a communications practitioner, lover of life, lover of people, fitness freak when we're back at it. I love running, I love traveling, I love meeting people, I love reading. Oh, I'm a writer as well.
Yes, you are.
I keep on forgetting that. Aspiring poet, activist. I like being behind a microphone. I love the studio. And my passion was and still primarily is radio. But in hindsight, I love performance. I love being in front of the stage, in front of people rather. The trouble began in April. I was training for this race and I started getting lower back pain. Went to see a doctor, did an MRI, and they found what they call as a hemangioma. They said, you're growing older, everything is fine, you're in shape, blah, 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 blah. I knew something was wrong. You know, I'd get pains in my body, my lower back, despite almost 4 months of not doing much physical activity. It's still, I'm like, can bones take this long to heal? I even asked my doctor, what's up? So I did a series of x-rays and MRIs. It's like, you do this. Soon after that, I'd gone to Uganda. And he called me. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in Uganda, work. He's like, I need you back in Nairobi today. And then I asked him, what's up? He's like, your images don't look great. It's one of two things. Spinal TB or multiple myeloma. I'm like, multiple myeloma is...
What does that mean? Whose friend is that?
Whose friend?
Yes.
Yeah,
Where do they
Twitter,
live? Yeah.
You know?
Help me.
Yeah. And he's like, it's a blood cancer. When the doctor was telling me, I think this was the journalist that kicked in. I asked for a piece of paper at the bar and I just wrote down everything that he said. Did an email to my family and told them, this is it, I'm coming to Nairobi tonight, picking a few things and I'm going straight to the hospital. It was so bizarre. That evening I was admitted into the Aga Khan. They did lots of tests, keeping my fingers crossed it was spinal TB. A few days later, they discovered that it wasn't. I remember one nurse, actually, when the doctor told me that it was... They told me it was multiple myeloma. She just touched me and she felt it. And you're like...
Oh, Kevin.
Sorry.
I've got to...
And it's okay, it's all right. It's all right. This is what I have. Okay. I don't know why I'm even crying now because I'm through the worst, but I think this is the first time I've actually gone through this and just relived this whole process.
And Kevin, don't, because if you'll get me started and I'm just the worst.
I'm just sweating. It's so hot now.
Oh, Kevin.
But it is what it is. We can't. It is what it is. And that's what this journey is.
Can't change it.
You can't change it. You can't change it.
Here's what happened next.
I remember coming to see you in the hospital once, and you said something to me where you described an emotion that you were going through about wondering whether there was something that you did to bring on the cancer. We were discussing it together, like you've been so diligent in taking care of your body, and then suddenly your body does this. And there were feelings of anger, and there were feelings of, but I tried my best, so why would this be my portion? What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
How did you work through that emotion? Because it's a very dark place, and getting through that point of beating yourself down, because there's already the cancer inside, but now mentally asking yourself questions you cannot answer. How did you get out of that place?
I've always told people I never asked why, because it's pointless. At least to me, it's pointless to ask why. Could I? And cancer is not the kind of thing that I think it's meant to happen. It's meant to happen. I don't think there are ways that you can prevent it. I even tell people I went out and had to pick an expensive cancer. Like, Kevo, really? You can't just get something you can't.
Kevin, you've never been really a cheapskate, in all the years I've known you. It was never the simple things.
Multiple myeloma is expensive. This thing, it doesn't even have a cure. But it's expensive. It's not, you're like budgeting, it's like not a milli that will take you to India. You're like, no, you need like 6 million. You're like, that's a house. Where are we getting that?
Where are we getting that?
Kevin, at the beginning, you mentioned something that you love, and that's people, spending time with them, getting to know them. And in getting diagnosed with multiple myeloma, it's these very same people who walked with you. It's people who you turn to. People from family to friends. And it was just a global network, Kevin, because I'm thinking about all the people I was stalking you online and checking what's happening. And of course, keeping in touch with your brother Herbert to find out what was going on. But in looking at what was happening online in your campaign to raise the funds, because like you've said, 6 million bob, I don't know many Kenyans who've got 6 million bob in their account just sitting pretty, waiting for something to happen or to go buy a car.
We should know people like that.
We should know people like that. Even better, we should be people like that. But seeing as we're still on the way, people. What was it like telling your friends, telling now the greater community and saying, I need support, walk with me?
It's difficult to tell people I have no chums. And I need chums, and I need support. I'm the guy who, not that I have those chums, but I'm the one going out to help people. One of the phrases I learned, and I saw a therapist, and she told me, Kevin, learn to receive. That is one of the many huge key lessons that I've learned so far. Learn to receive, where people are just throwing kindness at you, literally. And when people say it's better to give than it is to receive, but I learned what it is to receive and to be humble in receiving. When people say, you need a driver here, you need someone to take you shopping here, we'll come home and just hang out with you, we'll bring food. People whom I don't even know are giving money to my GoFundMe campaign, and it is that kindness, and that kindness has shown itself in very many ways. And restored humanity. And I still get, life just shows me there are good people out there, and I still get bowled over. Totally. I cry when, even just reading remarks on Facebook from random people whom I don't know. Someone will send me a message and yeah, I prayed for you, or I'm sending you good vibes. And there's a guy who said during Ramadan, he said every single time he did his prayers. I'm like, you should be sleeping. Why are you doing
You
this?
don't even know
you
But
don't
you're
even know
praying
me.
for me.
That kindness saw me through. The kindness from the family, the kindness from my friends, the kindness from the support network. And people were like saying, oh, you've got many friends. I'm like, you're my support. And that support came from even former employees. To my first full paid job, people showed up. And I just tell people, what do I learn from that? Do good to people. Whether you get anything back or not, it doesn't matter. Just do good because it is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Not because someone will do something for
Billas,
you.
it's
No,
wrong.
because it's
the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And for me, that is what helped me get through this. And guys say, Kevo, you are strong. And I'm like, if it wasn't for the people rallying behind me. And I remember writing about it. I'm like, telling people, people say, I equated this to a marathon, and people saying they will blow the vuvuzela with me because I equated it to the race I attempted in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that is it. It is people rallying. Even today, it is people rallying. There's a guy who I spoke to today who's into fitness as much as I am, and he's like, dude, be strong and kind to yourself. And that is what I needed to hear right now, to be strong and kind to myself. Because I'll be honest, it is frustrating not being able to do exercise to my level. I do 1 kilometer on the treadmill. I'm like, yay! But I can do 60 times, and I have done 60 times
Yes, you
this.
have. Yeah.
1K. And I haven't even broken a sweat. I have to leave the gym. I'm
Yes,
like,
and you're like,
why? But it is that this is, I think, the cancer was tough, and this is also another tough lesson where I have to be still.
Yeah.
And say, if
And
today is
learn a
1K,
different pace,
and
yes.
I told people it's like learning to walk again. I'm learning to run again. I'm in the slow lane, and I tell myself I'm with a tractor. You know, everyone's going past you like, I want to move, but this, I have to be on this
chugging
tractor
along
right
somewhere.
now. Yeah, I have to be on this tractor right now.
Yeah.
And I'm in my lane.
When it's time to switch, it will be
It
time
will
to switch.
switch.
But for now, just enjoy the
And that
sights.
is a tough lesson.
And that's part of the challenge about growing and learning and things like cancer coming into our lives or other events. It's just teaching you to learn things differently. Some things which you hold fast and you think you know, it's teaching you to say, no, let me teach you a different way. It's God's way of saying, I'll teach you a different way of everything that you know. But going back to the cancer, how are you now?
I'm fine, to be honest. I feel fine. I had to go to India for a transplant. That I'm really grateful that went really well.
Yeah.
It was very textbook. I feel fine, but I know I'm not. I tell people I feel like I'm out on payroll, you know, but knowing if I bust my payroll,
Yeah, you could be back,
I'm back in Dani.
back in there,
Yeah,
the big
you know,
house.
or like I
Yeah.
have a chip that's monitoring me, you know,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm fine. I tell people I feel invincible, but all this was thrown at me, and why did I take it on? And the bottom line is I wanted to fight, and the strength to fight came from my late aunt. You know, and I figured she chose to fight hers in her own way, and I want to honor that. And I figured I will not, and I don't want to be another sad story. I want to put back that hope. It sounds weird, that hope in cancer, that yes, you may get cancer, but it doesn't end
It's
there.
not ending.
It's not ending. And I think
It's
sort of when
just-
people say, oh, you had cancer, I mean, poleni,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's a question of even chamburing that cancer, say, you know, what stage was this person at, what treatment and everything. Because I remember when I had a friend who had a growth in his nose, and my friends try to shelter me from his death, the news of his death.
Yeah.
But that knocked me out, totally knocked me out. I was at work, I just went for a walk and I just started crying. I'm wondering, is it me next?
Now, who's next? And then wondering, are your friends also thinking the same thing?
They were trying to protect me, rightly so, you know, but I had to, only when I found out what stage this guy was at, was I able, and my friend said his was very different. You're in a different place.
Different, yeah.
And then, you know, my friend telling me she went through many transplants, and she's like, Kevo, show up for yourself. Cry, but don't go home. Go back to work. Go back to work and find the strength to go back to work. And I keep on saying I've learned from women how to deal with this journey, and indeed I have. To my friend saying, you know, she stopped going for any support groups because people were putting in fear into her. They weren't putting healing, and I'd like to put healing into people. Yes, you have it, and I don't know how long your fight will be, but we're gonna
You're
help
gonna
you
be in
fight
that ring
it.
fighting.
I'll be
You're
the
not
guy.
gonna-
I'll be the
cheering
guy
you.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, uppercut. You know, whether that we don't know what the outcome of that fight will be, but you are fighting.
You're going to give it your very best.
Yeah.
But looking forward, going ahead in your recovery, where are you now with multiple myeloma?
The cancer's gone into remission. It's
Right.
in remission stages, so it's undetectable, and I'm not taking any medication, no chemo. I will have to go through a month of chemo,
Yeah.
which is like management chemo, just to make sure that
It stays in
it stays
remission.
where it is. I'm still conducting monthly tests to just check sure my bloods and everything is okay, and that is a little bit scary. You're like, you best be good. As
Yeah.
a guy who's checking my blood, like just be knowing.
I got
you know?
my eye on
So
you.
that's where things are.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, within 100 days, I'm on day, I think, 70 something from the transplant. So these 100 days are sort of like crucial to see how I'm faring, how the transplant is responding to me, because my immunity level is still
Yeah.
low. I went through a stem cell transplant. That's the procedure that I went through in India. So the first 100 days, usually for anyone who's going through a transplant, are pretty crucial.
They're important.
They're important,
Don't
yeah.
push and don't knock it.
Yeah.
Be very gentle in
So I'm
those
being
days.
careful about crowds, and I have a face mask in my bag in case I need
You can't
that.
be picking anything.
Yeah, I
right?
can't be picking anything, touching. You've got home. I'm like,
Call me instead. Text me.
Yeah.
Even better, just text
just
me.
use poster. Write a letter.
Who does that anymore?
Miss Chichi
Even the electricity bills don't come in through the...
I'm like, you write a letter. Don't even call me. That's right. I might catch germs. Just write a letter. Clearly, that's why we're
Smoke
friends.
signals.
The drama.
I think smoke signals are better.
That's where things are.
Yeah.
And it's that, and being also now to reflect within myself and just take this journey to pieces. Well, not take it to pieces, but just
break
I
it
think-
down, see it for what it is, and then now move on as the new Kevin, because you will be a new Kevin. You already are a new Kevin. Look, are we going back there?
I mean, this is part of the journey. I remember telling myself, I'll wear a turban or a kofia or a Marvin, or they say a boshori in Kikuyu.
You could have asked me for some other
you know,
help.
and I
A
figured,
James
you
Brown
know
one.
what? I can carry a good head,
Yeah.
you know, and my journey's been very public, so why am I featuring it? I don't like the fact that it's growing in pieces.
No, it will. Don't worry,
But
it will.
this is a small thing.
Yes.
It is a small thing. And this is, I'm proud. When guys ask me, you cut your hair? I said, no, it fell off. And I'm hoping that might start some conversation with people. Some people, some people might say I'm rubbing it in their faces and stuff. But
There's nobody.
I'm being very open about this.
Yeah,
journey.
it is the truth about where you are and what you're going through. How anybody would even begin to think that I'm rubbing it in your face is actually a surprise to me. But I guess we're all wired differently.
We're all
And
wired
We all
differently.
have a different journey that we're on, and we see the world differently. And that's okay too.
So,
Kevin, it's so late in the night, and I need you to get to a warm space before I am stoned by your legions of supporters, prayer warriors,
Thank you.
and Team Kevin. You never walk alone, Kevin.
I mean,
Doesn't that make you feel great?
All I can say is thank you. India taught me one thing is namaste. I wish we could do namaste a lot more. I recognize your soul, you recognize my soul, and you recognize people for who they are. And I can say shukran. That is all. I wish there were more words to say thank you.
That's good enough.
But yeah,
That's more than enough for us. So namaste.
so namaste.
Kevin, I will love you all the
Shukriya.
days of your life.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you
for this
thank you.
opportunity.
And the
for
door
support.
remains open. When you've got something you just want to say, or you just want to stop by and say, I'm ready to just sit with you and watch the sunset and just look at the dark trees, we're here
Shukran.
forever.
Asante.
You can still continue to walk with Kevin. He's an amazing writer. There's so much going on with this man. You have to get to know him. We are going to post links to his social media sites on all of my social media sites, so you can check out his writing. You can walk with him and look at all these amazing thoughts that are going on in his head. People with cancer have a story to tell. And people with cancer are not just people with cancer, they're people. They've got hearts, they've got ideas, and they've still got lives to live. And in all ways, in all things, live out loud. We are at Westwood Hotel. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Click on notifications. Why am I getting emotional? So that you never miss an episode. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Thank you very much.